Today we're making corn relish, pickled corn relish, y'all. Wouldn't you like to have this on your pantry shelf? Oh my goodness. Well, hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I am Susan, your hostess. We are in my freezer that I'm working out of, and y'all, it is a hot mess again because guess what? We're in garden season. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to make some corn relish. I've got all kinds of things in here that I'm going to be using. I do have corn in here somewhere. I'll probably be using some celery, some bell peppers. Oh, there's some corn back here peeking out at me. So we're going to get this stuff defrosted, and then we're going to get into our home canning 24 for you today. So grab your corn and all the ingredients. I'll give you a list of them at the beginning of this, and try this corn relish to have on your shelf as a condiment or a side dish. Boy, I've got it packed, y'all. It is just packed. We packed up, I don't know how many bags of bell peppers the other day. We had a great big sack of bell peppers we bought at the Amish community. We have picked up purple whole peas. I've got purple whole peas up here. I got more here. And I've got some more down in the drawer below from last year. We're going to get all that stuff canned up in the coming weeks and months. I want to get my freezers cleaned out for next year. So we've got to get busy. Well, we're in my kitchen, y'all, and I've got a lot of noise going on in the background. I've got dehydrator going. I've got the dishwasher running. I've got canning jars sterilizing, and we are getting ready to can some homemade pickled corn relish. I just call it corn relish. It will yield about 9 pints. I'm going to read over the instructions, and then we'll get into the actual making of this. And while I'm going over the instructions, I'm just going to go ahead and put the ingredients in my pot. So I have assembled all my ingredients, and so I have 10 cups of fresh whole corn, or you can use 6 bags of the frozen 10-ounce packages of corn, which would be 60 ounces, or 16 to 20 medium-sized ears. I would weigh it out or measure it out in cups. And then I've mixed my red and green bell peppers. It's 2.5 cups of each. They're diced. 2.5 cups of chopped celery. 1.5 cups of chopped onion. 1 cup of sugar. 5 cups of 5% vinegar. And then in this little bowl here, I have 2.5 tablespoons of canning salt, 2.5 teaspoons of celery seed, but I had dried celery, so I opted for that. And I added a tablespoon of dried celery. I have dried mustard, that's 2.5 tablespoons of dried mustard, and 1.25 teaspoon of turmeric. Let's get these ingredients in our pot. Pardon my arm, y'all. I'm right-handed, and I'm trying to work with my left hand today. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump these in. They've been sitting out on the counter for a little bit. All of those ingredients are still frozen. I did chop up some onion. I'm going to go ahead and add in my sugar. I am not going to add in the salt as it is required or the other ingredients. I'm going to add that as this starts to cook down. I'm going to add my 5% vinegar. We're going to get this on the stovetop and get it cooking down. So this recipe was found on nchfp.uga.edu. I did leave out one ingredient because it said flour. I do not put flour in my canning jars. I don't want to create a botulism environment. so therefore I left it out. That's the only discretion that I used on the recipe. I will link that recipe in the description box below the rest of the video here, and I'm going to read this off to you. So it calls for 10 cups of fresh whole corn, or 16 to 20 medium-sized ears of corn off the cob, or 6 10-ounce packages of frozen corn. So if it's 6 10-ounce packages, it would be 60 ounces of corn. It calls for 2.5 cups of diced sweet red peppers, 2.5 cups of diced sweet green peppers, 2.5 cups of diced onion, 1 3/4 cup of sugar, 5% vinegar. You need 5 cups, 2.5 tablespoons of canning salt, 2.5 teaspoons of celery seed, 2.5 tablespoons of dry mustard, 1 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. You're going to boil the corn for 5 minutes. Combine the peppers, celery, onions, vinegar, and salt in the pan. I did not add any water to this because the recipe really didn't say how much water I needed. If I need water, I'll add it. Bring to a boil for 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. Mix in the mustard and turmeric with 1/2 cup of the simmered mixture. Add back to the simmered mixture. Simmer for 5 more minutes. Fill your jars with hot mixture, 1/2 inch headspace. And you're going to hot water bath pints and half pints for 15 minutes unless you're above 1,000 feet. At 1,001 feet to 6,000 feet, it would be 20 minutes, and above 6,000 feet, you would do it for 25 minutes. And like I said, I omitted the flour suggestion recipe because I think that is just not a good ingredient to try to can with. So I don't believe it's going to need any extra liquid, but if it does, when I put it in the canning jar, I will just have some boiling water sitting on the side and add it to my jars. The vegetables are going to release some of the liquids off of them as they cook down. And you do want to stir this occasionally because you've got sugar in there. You don't want that sugar to burn on the bottom of your pan. You want it to dissolve. And so that's the mixture there. It looks really pretty. We'll get this done here in a moment, and I'll be back to jar it up. Okay, I added about a cup of the hot liquid. I'm going to get this mixed up, and then I'm going to get it into our pot. The reason I'm mixing it is so it doesn't clump up when it hits a hot liquid. Let's take it to the stove and into our hot liquid. I'm going to give that a stir. And then we're going to let this to simmer for 5 minutes. And as soon as my jars are sterilized, then we will be back and get it into the canner. All right, I've got all my ingredients, all my equipment assembled, and we're going to fill our jars up. Sorry about that, folks. My camera flipped. Okay, I filled the bottom half of my jars first to make sure that I had plenty of hot liquid in there to keep the jars warm. I'm going back in and I'm going to backfill all of my jars until I'm out of everything that is in this pot. And we should come up with 9 pints. Now I may have to take one of my pints and divide it up between the others. I don't know. But we're going to keep working this until it's filled. Okay, I've got 8.5 jars. It said it may or may not make 9 jars, so we're going to go with the 8.5. I'm going to debubble. We're going to check our headspace on the jars. This jar is going to stay out, so I'm not worried about that jar. So I want a 1/2 inch headspace. So this one's got a little bit too much liquid. Not enough liquid or something. That one's good. Okay. I'm going to have that in the refrigerator. We're going to eat that up. So we're going to get this taken care of. I've got a vinegar over here and a clean rag. I'm going to clean my top of the rims of my jars. We're going to get these loaded into the canner. There's a kernel laying on the side here. Let me tell you, it's already pickled. But as this ages, it's going to pickle even more. You want to center your lids with 4 fingers. Drop your lid on, but you want to hold your flat in place and apply the band. And you want to apply the band finger tight, but another channel was saying if you go back on your ring just a bit, it will seat that flat so you don't have as many fails. Then you want it finger tight. I use 3 fingers to finger tight. That's what it's going to look like going into the canner, y'all. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. I'll be back when I have my canner loaded and we will proceed from there. Okay, they are loaded in the canner. I'm going to apply the lid. Once this comes to a steam, I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes because my altitude is at 1,000 feet or less. If it's above that, go back and check the temperatures that the time that you need to water bath can your product for. This is the remaining of the corn relish. I'm going to let this cool off and then it's going into my refrigerator. I'm going to get my kitchen cleaned up a little bit and we'll be back once these are processed. All right, my timer has gone off, folks. We are going to get these jars out of the canner. Always open your lid away from your face. You do not want a steam bath on your face. And allow the water to settle down before you start removing your jars, or otherwise you're going to get burnt. So we're going to pull them out. That's what it looks like, folks. Oh, it smells delicious. I meant to tell you that while it was cooking, but I forgot. This would make a lovely gift for family members at Christmas time or for birthdays, anniversaries, a number of things. They look delicious. They look delicious. And there we are. Let's pull in closer. Oh yes. Now these are bubbling in the jars, y'all. They are extremely hot. We will be hearing these lids pinging here in a few moments. The Superb canning lids are pretty much fail-proof lids in my opinion. I don't have a problem with them, and once they have cooled for 12 to 24 hours, I will remove the bands. I will check the seals, wash my jars, let them dry, get them labeled and into my pantry. And this jar back here is cooling off, and it will go into the refrigerator for my husband and I to try for supper tonight. I imagine that the longer that this sits on your pantry shelf, the better they become. That's been my experience with relishes and pickles. So this is a relish, but you can use it as a side dish or as a garnish on some of your food. Wouldn't that be lovely on a hot dog? I'm thinking hot dog right off the bat. Yum, yum. Doesn't that look delicious? Home canned fresh corn relish for our pantry shelf. This is now shelf stable and it will last a long, long time on our shelf. We're all about food preservation on this channel. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to become a channel friend. All you have to do is hit the like button, the friend button, leave a comment, share this out, hit all the bells and whistles, and you will get all of our content coming to you each day. We do a daily video. And I am excited to share these recipes with you for home canning. Again, the link will be in the description box below this video. This is My Home Canning 24. It is a playlist. And also, this is hashtag freezer cleanout 24. I know I'm cleaning out stuff that we have just preserved in our freezer, but I've got to make room because we have 120 ears of corn coming this weekend. I have no place to put it. You know, my mother used to say, the faster I go, the behinder I get. I totally get that now. Thank you again, my friends, and may you be fully blessed.